The year is 2145, and the galaxy burns. Commander Lucy Ferguson stands on the bridge of the battleship Aegis Dash, her sharp eyes scanning the holographic display of the ongoing war. For a century, humanity has been locked in a brutal conflict with the Centauri, an enigmatic alien race whose motives remain as inscrutable as their biology. The Centauri are relentless, their sleek, insectoid ships cutting through human defenses like razors through silk. Entire colonies have been reduced to ash, billions of lives lost. Yet, despite the staggering losses, humanity clings to hope, driven by the belief that this war is about survival, a fight for freedom against an oppressive foe. But today something feels different. Lucy's communicator buzzes to life, snapping her out of her thoughts. "Commander, we've intercepted an encrypted transmission from the Centauri fleet," reports Lieutenant Carter, her second in command. His voice carries a note of urgency. It doesn't match any known military protocol. Lucy's heart skips a beat. Encrypted transmissions are nothing new in warfare, but this one is different. The patterns within the code are irregular, almost organic, as if they were designed not by machines but by something far older and far stranger. "Decryption team, get on it immediately," Lucy orders, her tone clipped but controlled. Hours pass in tense silence as the crew works tirelessly to unravel the mystery. Finally, the message is cracked, revealing coordinates to a mysterious planet. Australia. The name sends a chill down Lucy's spine. She knows the legends, tales whispered among scholars and dismissed by most as mere fantasy. Australia was said to be a world of immense power, a nexus where ancient civilizations once thrived. Some even claimed it held the secrets of the universe itself. But those were just stories, weren't they? As Lucy stares at the coordinates flashing on her screen, she feels a strange pull, as though the planet itself is calling to her. Could this discovery explain why the Centauri have waged such a relentless war? Could it hold the key to ending the bloodshed? Or is it something darker, a trap designed to lure humanity into its final defeat? We only began this story, but trust me, it's about to get even more intense. Stay tuned to find out what happens when Commander Ferguson uncovers the first piece of a shocking puzzle. The journey to Australia is fraught with peril. As the Aegis descends through the planet's atmosphere, the ship groans under the strain of gravitational forces unlike anything its systems have encountered before. Outside the viewport, the landscape unfolds in a breathtaking yet unsettling panorama. The surface glows with bioluminescent flora, casting an ethereal light across jagged crystal spires that stretch toward the heavens. These formations hum faintly, their vibrations resonating through the hull of the ship and into the bones of everyone aboard. It's as if the planet itself is alive, watching, waiting. When Lucy steps onto the alien soil for the first time, she feels an overwhelming sense of déjà vu, as though she's walked this path in another life. Her boots sink slightly into the iridescent ground, which shimmers like liquid glass beneath her weight. Behind her, her team fans out cautiously, scanning for threats. The air is thick with energy, almost electric, and every movement seems to echo louder than it should. Despite the beauty surrounding them, there's an undeniable tension in the atmosphere, a feeling that they're intruding upon something sacred. It isn't long before they stumble upon ruins rising from the terrain like forgotten sentinels. The architecture is a blend of organic curves and geometric precision, evoking both nature and technology. Symbols carved into the stone catch Lucy's eye, and her breath catches in her throat. They're eerily similar to designs she's seen in ancient human texts, patterns thought to represent mythological beings or celestial events. The resemblance is too close to be coincidence. Her mind races as she runs her fingers over the weathered carvings. What does it mean? How could two species separated by vast distances and eons of evolution share such striking similarities? Inside the ruins, the air grows colder, heavier, as though the very walls are pressing down on them. Lucy's flashlight beam dances across intricate murals depicting scenes of cosmic battles and celestial alignments. At the center of the chamber lies a pedestal, its surface etched with runes that glow faintly when touched. She hesitates for a moment, then places her hand on the pedestal. A low hum fills the room, growing louder until it becomes almost deafening. Suddenly, the runes flare to life, projecting a holographic image into the air. The figure that appears is humanoid but otherworldly, its features shimmering like liquid silver. It speaks in a language neither human nor Centauri, yet somehow intelligible. Its words send chills down Lucy's spine. "Welcome, Seeker. You have come to learn the truth of Australia." Before she can respond, the projection fades, leaving behind more questions than answers. We're on the edge of a major revelation. What's about to happen will change everything you thought you knew. You can't afford to miss the climax of this story. Lucy's mind whirls as she processes the implications of the hologram's cryptic greeting. Seeking answers, she orders her team to set up equipment to scan the ruins for additional data. Hours later, they uncover a hidden chamber accessible only through a complex sequence of rune activations. Inside, they find a repository of knowledge, an archive containing records spanning millennia. Among the artifacts is a device resembling a crystalline orb, pulsating with an inner light. When activated, it projects a detailed history of Australia and its role in the cosmos. The recording begins with the creation of the universe, an event described not as random chaos but as a carefully orchestrated symphony. According to the narrative, Australia was chosen by the cosmos to serve as a balancing force among sentient species. Every few thousand years, a ritual unfolds, a controlled conflict designed to weed out stagnation and encourage evolution. Species deemed too aggressive or complacent are culled, while others are given opportunities to rise. The goal, according to the recording, is to maintain harmony across the galaxy, ensuring no single species dominates unchecked. Lucy listens intently, her stomach twisting with a mix of awe and dread. If what the recording says is true, then the war with the Centauri wasn't random, it was planned, orchestrated. Humanity had been pawns in a game far older than their existence. The realization hits her like a freight train. All the sacrifices, all the deaths, they weren't fighting for freedom or survival. They were participants in a cosmic experiment, manipulated by forces beyond comprehension. Her hands tremble as she records the message, knowing it will shake the foundations of everything humanity believes. Yet, even as doubt creeps in, she can't help but wonder, who or what is behind the ritual? And why now? Why reveal this truth after centuries of secrecy? Returning to the Aegis Dash, Lucy calls an emergency briefing to share her findings. She presents the evidence meticulously, hoping to rally her crew around the idea of investigating further. Instead, she faces resistance. Lieutenant Carter, usually her staunchest supporter, accuses her of indulging in conspiracy theories. "You're telling us that this war, the deaths of billions, was all part of some grand plan?" he demands, his voice tinged with disbelief. "That's insane." Other crew members echo his sentiments, their fear of the unknown outweighing their trust in their commander. Lines are drawn, alliances fractured. Some believe Lucy's theory is plausible, while others see it as a dangerous distraction. Tensions escalate quickly, turning what should have been a collaborative discussion into a heated argument. Lucy tries to remain calm, but the weight of their skepticism presses down on her like a physical force. Later, alone in her quarters, she stares out the viewport at the swirling nebulae beyond. Her reflection in the glass looks weary, haunted. How can she unite her crew when they refuse to see the bigger picture? And worse, how can she convince them without losing herself in the process? She knows the truth won't be easy to swallow, but she also knows it's necessary. The real question is whether humanity is ready to face it. Determined to uncover more, Lucy ventures deeper into the ruins, leaving behind the safety of the Aegis Dash. Her instincts guide her through labyrinthine passages until she reaches a cavernous chamber bathed in golden light. At its center stands a being of pure energy, the guardian of Australia. Its form shifts constantly, resembling nothing so much as living light. It communicates telepathically, its voice resonating in Lucy's mind with a clarity that defies description. The ritual ensures balance, the guardian explains. Without it, weaker species would perish, and stronger ones would grow complacent. Chaos would reign. Lucy argues that the system is flawed, that it perpetuates suffering unnecessarily. The guardian listens patiently, then poses a question that haunts her. Would you rather live in a universe governed by chaos or one shaped by order, even if that order comes at a cost? Lucy leaves the encounter shaken but resolute. The guardian's words linger in her mind, challenging her beliefs and forcing her to confront uncomfortable truths. Is the price of peace truly worth the cost of war? Lucy's encounter with the guardian leaves her grappling with moral dilemmas that threaten to unravel her resolve. She knows she can't face this alone. She needs perspective from the other side of the conflict. Against all odds, she devises a daring plan: infiltrate a Centauri vessel. It's a suicide mission by any measure, but Lucy is no stranger to calculated risks. With the help of her most trusted operatives, she outfits herself in stolen Centauri armor and disguises her human features using advanced holographic tech. The team coordinates their approach during a routine supply exchange between the Aegis and a nearby Centauri cruiser. The infiltration goes smoother than expected, at least initially. Lucy moves through the alien ship's labyrinthine corridors, her heart pounding as she avoids detection. The Centauri are an intimidating species, their towering insectoid frames exuding both menace and grace. Their language, a series of clicks, hisses, and subsonic vibrations, is incomprehensible to her, but their body language speaks volumes. She observes them closely, noting how they interact with one another. Despite their reputation as ruthless warriors, there's an underlying order to their behavior, almost ritualistic in nature. Her cover nearly blows when she accidentally steps into a restricted area, triggering alarms. Thinking quickly, she feigns injury, collapsing dramatically near a group of Centauri soldiers. To her surprise, they don't kill her on sight. Instead, they carry her to what appears to be a medical bay. There, she meets General Kale, the leader of the Centauri forces. His piercing, multifaceted eyes seem to bore into her soul as he assesses her. For a moment, Lucy fears exposure, but something about her demeanor, or perhaps her courage, piques his interest. Through a translator device, Lucy explains her presence, weaving a story of defection and disillusionment with humanity's war effort. Kale listens intently, his expression unreadable. When she finishes, he surprises her by admitting that the Centauri share her concerns. They, too, were unaware of the ritual's true nature until recently. Like humanity, they've been pawns in a game orchestrated by higher powers. Together, they discuss the possibility of rebellion, not against each other, but against the unseen architects of the ritual. Kale reveals that factions within the Centauri ranks have grown uneasy with the war's purpose. Some believe it's time to break free from the cycle of violence, while others cling to the belief that dominance is their destiny. Lucy realizes that the Centauri are not so different from humans after all. They're torn between fear and hope, tradition and progress. As they strategize, a tentative alliance forms, fragile but promising. For the first time, Lucy sees a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. With Kale's reluctant blessing, Lucy gains access to a hidden archive aboard the Centauri cruiser. Here, she discovers scrolls and tablets written in a hybrid script blending Centauri and Australian symbols. Among these artifacts, she finds a prophecy foretelling the arrival of a harbinger, a figure destined to decide the fate of the ritual. The description matches her perfectly: a leader torn between duty and morality, burdened by the weight of impossible decisions. The prophecy details a series of trials the Harbinger must endure, each designed to test their resolve and wisdom. Success would bring about a new era of balance, while failure would plunge the galaxy into chaos. Panic grips Lucy as she wonders if she's merely a pawn in a larger scheme. Was she chosen because of her strengths, or manipulated because of her vulnerabilities? The answers elude her, leaving her more uncertain than ever. Kale, sensing her turmoil, offers words of encouragement. "You are not alone in this," he says, his voice low and steady. "Whatever path you choose, I will stand beside you." His unwavering support gives her strength, but it also deepens her sense of responsibility. If she fails, the consequences will be catastrophic, not just for humanity or the Centauri, but for every sentient being in the galaxy. As they pore over the prophecy together, Lucy notices subtle inconsistencies in the text. Certain phrases suggest that the ritual itself may have been altered over time, its original purpose corrupted by those who sought to wield it for personal gain. Could the Guardians have been complicit in this manipulation? Or were they victims of deception as well? The questions pile up, each one heavier than the last. Back aboard the Aegis Dash, Lucy calls another meeting, this time including representatives from both human and Centauri leadership. She presents the prophecy and her findings about the ritual's corruption, hoping to rally support for reform. The response is mixed. Some see an opportunity to reshape the system, ensuring it serves its original purpose without perpetuating suffering. Others argue that the ritual should be abolished entirely, believing it irreparably flawed. The debate grows heated, with tempers flaring and old grievances resurfacing. Lucy struggles to maintain control, her patience wearing thin. Finally, she slams her fist on the table, silencing the room. "We cannot afford to fight amongst ourselves," she declares, her voice ringing with authority. "If we do, we play directly into the hands of whoever created this system. We need unity, not division." Despite her impassioned plea, the decision comes down to a grim ultimatum. To break the cycle of violence, one side must willingly step back, allowing the other to ascend. The thought sickens Lucy. How can she ask her people to abandon their homes, their freedom, for the sake of galactic harmony? Yet, the alternative, a never-ending war, is equally untenable. She consults Kale privately, seeking guidance. He admits that his own people face the same dilemma. Both sides agree to present the option to their respective fleets, hoping that reason will prevail over rage. But as Lucy prepares to address her crew, she feels the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Whatever choice she makes, it will define her legacy and the future of the galaxy. As both fleets gather above Australia, tensions reach a boiling point. Weapons charge, shields activate, and the void fills with the hum of impending doom. Lucy broadcasts a message to all ships, pleading for calm. Her words fall on deaf ears, at least initially. Shots are fired, and the battlefield erupts into chaos. Amidst the carnage, Lucy locates Kale aboard his flagship. Using secure channels, they coordinate a daring maneuver to disable key systems on both sides, buying precious minutes to negotiate. Blood spills, lives are lost, but the fragile thread of diplomacy holds firm. Together, they appeal to the shared experiences of loss and hope, reminding everyone of the sacrifices made in pursuit of peace. Slowly, hesitantly, the fighting subsides. Leaders from both sides convene aboard the Aegis Dash, where Lucy unveils the final piece of the puzzle, a device hidden within the ruins of Australia capable of halting the ritual permanently. Activating the device requires immense energy, enough to temporarily freeze time across the battlefield. Lucy volunteers to carry out the task herself, knowing the risks involved. Kale insists on joining her, unwilling to let her face the unknown alone. As they descend to the planet's surface, the weight of the galaxy rests squarely on their shoulders. Inside the ruins, Lucy and Kale activate the device, triggering a cascade of events that halt the battle above. Time freezes around them, silencing the roar of cannons and the screams of the dying. The Guardian reappears, addressing both fleets telepathically. It explains that the ritual was never meant to destroy, it was designed to teach. By forcing species to confront their flaws, it fosters growth and cooperation. The real enemy isn't the Centauri or humanity, it's ignorance. Moved by the revelation, leaders from both sides agree to forge a new path forward. Peace, though fragile, takes root. Decades later, Australia becomes a symbol of unity, where humans and Centauri collaborate to heal the scars of war. Lucy, now retired, reflects on her journey with quiet pride. The road was long and fraught with peril, but the destination was worth every step. Sometimes the hardest truths lead to the brightest futures. Years after the ceasefire, Australia has transformed into a beacon of hope and cooperation. Humans and Centauri now share markets, classrooms, and even families. On the surface, peace seems absolute, a testament to the resilience of both species. Yet beneath this veneer of unity, whispers of discontent begin to spread like cracks in polished glass. A faction of humans, calling themselves the true sons of Earth, argues that humanity surrendered too much in the name of peace. They claim the ritual was a fabrication, a convenient excuse for the Centauri to maintain dominance under the guise of harmony. At first, Lucy dismisses these voices as remnants of old hatreds, clinging desperately to a world that no longer exists. But when she receives an anonymous tip about secret meetings held in the shadow of the ruins, her instincts flare. Something feels off. Gathering a small team, including Kale, who remains a trusted ally, she infiltrates one of these gatherings. What she discovers shocks her. Not only are the dissenters planning sabotage, but they've also uncovered evidence suggesting the ritual may have been manipulated. Fragments of ancient data hint that the Guardians themselves might not be impartial arbiters but rather enforcers of a hidden agenda. Lucy's mind races. If the Guardians were compromised, then everything she fought for, the sacrifices, the lives lost, could have been for nothing. Was the peace they achieved built on lies? And if so, how can she justify the cost? As she pores over the fragmented data with Kale, she realizes the truth is far more complex than either side imagined. The seeds of doubt planted by the true sons threaten to uproot the fragile coalition she worked so hard to build. Following the trail of clues left behind by the true sons, Lucy and Kale venture deeper into unexplored regions of Australia. Here, they discover structures far older than the ruins they had explored before. These edifices pulse with a darker energy, their walls adorned with symbols that evoke dread rather than wonder. Inside, they encounter another entity, a shadowy counterpart to the Guardian they met years ago. This being introduces itself as the architect, claiming responsibility for designing the ritual eons ago. The architect's voice resonates with an eerie calm, devoid of emotion. It explains that the original purpose of the ritual was indeed noble, to prevent unchecked expansion and ensure survival across the galaxy. However, over millennia, corruption seeped into its mechanisms. Certain species began exploiting the system, using it to eliminate rivals or consolidate power. The Guardians, once impartial custodians, became enablers of this corruption, swayed by promises of order at any cost. The architect warns Lucy that dismantling the ritual entirely would plunge the galaxy into chaos, but leaving it untouched risks further manipulation. Once again, Lucy finds herself caught between impossible choices. Can the system be reformed, or must it be destroyed entirely? And what happens if the corruption runs deeper than anyone suspects? Kale grows increasingly uneasy during their conversation with the architect. "This feels wrong," he mutters, his antennae twitching nervously. "It's almost as if we're being led somewhere." Lucy shares his unease but knows they can't turn back now. The answers lie ahead, no matter how dangerous the path may be. Armed with new information, Lucy returns to the capital of Australia to present her findings to key leaders from both humanity and the Centauri. The revelation fractures the fragile alliance. Some advocate for reforming the ritual, believing it can still serve its original purpose if purged of corruption. Others demand its complete abolition, arguing that no system so inherently flawed should persist. Debates turn heated, and old wounds reopen. Even Kale begins questioning whether his people truly sought peace or merely adapted to circumstances. He confides in Lucy one evening, admitting his fears. "What if we're just trading one form of oppression for another?" he asks. "What if the cycle never ends?" Amidst the turmoil, Lucy struggles to hold the coalition together. She reaches out to former enemies, appealing to their shared experiences of loss and hope. Her efforts yield mixed results. While some heed her call for unity, others grow increasingly radicalized. One night, as she stares at the stars from her balcony, Kale joins her. He confesses his fears, not just for his people but for Lucy herself. "You carry too much," he says. "One day, the weight will break you." His words haunt her, yet they steel her resolve. If anyone can navigate this storm, it's her. As tensions escalate, the Guardians intervene, declaring that a second ritual must occur to restore balance. This time, however, the stakes are higher. Instead of pitting species against each other, the ritual will force individuals to confront their deepest fears and desires. Those who emerge victorious will shape the future of the galaxy. Lucy volunteers immediately, knowing she cannot ask others to face such trials without doing so herself. Kale insists on joining her, unwilling to let her face the unknown alone. The ritual unfolds within a dreamscape-like dimension, where reality bends and twists according to the participants' subconscious. Lucy faces visions of her past failures, her greatest regrets laid bare. She sees the faces of fallen comrades, hears their voices accusing her of betrayal. Yet, she also glimpses moments of triumph, the lives saved, the bonds forged. Through sheer willpower, she pushes forward, confronting not only her doubts but also the part of herself that craves control. Meanwhile, Kale wrestles with his own demons, grappling with the guilt of leading his people into a war he didn't fully understand. Together, they navigate the labyrinth of their psyches, emerging stronger but forever changed. When they awaken, they find themselves back in the heart of Australia, surrounded by those who participated in the ritual. Many are changed, some broken, others reborn. The experience has stripped away pretenses, leaving only raw truth. Together, Lucy, Kale, and the survivors draft a new accord, one that acknowledges the flaws of the old system while embracing the potential for change. The Guardians, humbled by the revelations, agree to step back, allowing sentient beings to determine their own fates. In the years that follow, Australia becomes a monument to resilience and adaptation. Humanity and the Zentari continue to coexist, their relationship evolving beyond mere tolerance to genuine partnership. Lucy, now a legend, retires to a quiet life, mentoring the next generation of leaders. As she watches young humans and Zentari laugh and learn together, she feels a profound sense of fulfillment. The road ahead remains uncertain, but for the first time, it feels limitless. And so, the story ends not with an answer, but with a question. What kind of future will we choose to build? If this epic tale of courage, sacrifice, and redemption resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe for more stories that challenge your perspective and ignite your imagination. The universe is vast, and there's always more to explore.